This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
Hello, everyone. This is Kenny Lilly from Do the Math 24/7's Math Talk. I hope everyone is having a great day. We're here today with my guest, Loretta. But before we go into that, with our special guest, I want to first break down what Do the Math 24/7 is. Do the Math 24/7 is a positive message with a spread on unity, equality, and acceptance. Do the Math 24/7's positive message is broken down into 5 basic math symbols: add, subtract, multiply, divide, and equal. So for add respect, add kindness, add forgiveness. For subtract hate, subtract bullying, subtract injustice. For multiply love, peace, and unity. For divide, even though there's division in society, we're strong and unified as a people. And equal stands for equality, equal rights, equal opportunity. And 24/7 stands for all the time. Do the math 24/7. And we have several different ways in which we spread our positive message. We have a school fundraising program. We have a character building program, which is an after-school program within Des Moines Public Schools. We also have an apparel line, and we do public speaking as well as Math Talk podcast. So again, Do the Math 24/7. So with that, I want to introduce Loretta Windsor. How you doing, Loretta?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yes, good. Good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So let me just kind of break down how we actually met. So we met about 4 years ago, and I was found out about a farmer's market. It was a Taste of Des Moines, the Heart of Des Moines Farmer's Market. And Loretta was there, selling different products and whatnot. So we just started talking and just kind of giving me the rundown of her business. She was actually selling some flowers, and I picked up some flowers, some plants, and we talked about that. And then I was getting ready to leave, and I decided, let me go back to Loretta and just go give her one of my business cards. So since I did have an apparel line in California years ago, I decided, let me just give Loretta my business card, and maybe someday we can connect. And sure enough, we definitely connected. One thing about Loretta, she definitely wanted to make sure that she follows through on what she says. And if you're willing to connect, she'll try to connect with you. So she definitely called me up. And she notified me as far as an event that was coming up. It was the Peace Day 2021 YMCA event. Yep. And I was setting up, and Loretta told me about it and says, you know what, come over here and set up your table right next to mine. I'm going to go ahead and give you the ins and outs, showing you what to do to start the festival. So with that, that's kind of how I started, really just being in the community. Being at different events, setting up booths, and just being more exposed in the community and connecting with the community. So I thank you for that. Kind of giving me your blueprint of how I actually started out here. So the first question is, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, you said it. My name is Loretta. Actually, it's changed. My last name is Terrell. So I'm back to Terrell. So it's Loretta Terrell. I'm a proud mother of 2 grown adult children that are doing marvelous things. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren. They call me Tutu, so that's where Tutu's plants, flowers, and things came from, the flowers you talked about. Mm-hmm. But I am actually just, I'm an entrepreneur. I own several businesses, and Sister Soul Fest is one of my babies that I actually am over, but it's for the community too. So I'm just living my best life right now. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do. Okay,
good. So you mentioned several different businesses. So if you don't mind kind of sharing your business ventures.
Okay, well, the first business that I had is, and a lot of people probably don't know about it, but it's Queen's Abundant Life Meditations. Meditation is what really got me started in all of these different businesses and just really finding myself in this world. So that was my first one, is meditation. And so I still have that. It's not the forefront right now, but it's still very much present. So teaching meditation to anyone really who's open to it. And that's a business. Also Tutu's flowers, plants, and things. So it's a floral shop. and it's some big things coming for that. I'm super, super excited about that. So it's a flower shop right now. There's not a brick and mortar, but I do everything that a florist does. So weddings, funerals, birthdays.
Mother's Day?
Mother's Day.
Mention that?
You know what? This year I will not be doing Mother's Day.
Okay.
But I did do Mother's Day 2 years in a row. It's a floral exhibit. And so I do, it's a theme each year. It's downtown at the hotel. And it's beautiful because, again, meditation that came to me to do a floral exhibit. You never really do, you never hear of, you hear of fashion shows or you hear of different art galas. But this is just where I created different seasons. So there were bouquets of every season. And you could just go around and you can purchase them as well. So, but yeah, that was fun. But I knew last year was my last year doing that for now. So there's tutus, and then there's Sister Soul Fest. Sister Soul Fest, I know. Sister Soul Fest. Sister Soul Fest is just, it's amazing. But that is a business as well. It's a nonprofit, so we're getting our nonprofit this year. We finally landed that, our own. Thank you. So I have that, and then that's stemmed off to Brothers United for Hope, which is artwork. I brought some pieces with me, but and there's Sister Girl Talk. Sister Girl Talk is where we meet once a month, just women from all over the community, young girls. Just a space where we can talk freely and safely, and it's just our sacred space. So we meet once a month, and we do meditation there too, and just really just talk. So those are those.
And then the art gala.
Right. Okay. So the art gala.
See, I'm gonna be your promoter now. You know to go ahead and let me get on the payroll.
You know what? I will let you. Yes, and I will gladly pay you. We are looking, man. Yes. So the art gala and the art auction. Yes. That's actually a fundraiser that we've done now for 2 years, and that's to help with Sister Soul Fest. This year it was really. It was amazing. Every year it is, but you have your challenges too. So the weather really kind of knocked us in the throat, like ooh, but it made us realize that we needed to have a contingency plan, a plan B, so that because we never thought about what if the weather's bad? Duh, we live in Iowa, right, yes. So weather could be whatever it wants to be. But yeah, and then this year. Not only that, but that's where Brothers United for Hope came in, because a lot of the artwork that we did receive for that event came from the men that are part of Brothers United for Hope. So, yeah, so we have that. Good.
Yeah. Okay. And I remember going to the art gala the first year. That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
The way the whole setup was, and the way the food were presented and the drinks and whatnot, and it was just so classy. And even between different art exhibits, how you had the gentleman up front playing the soft background music, playing the jazz. So so it was nice. So
thank you.
So obviously you're definitely have several different ventures. So what is like one of the highlights of your success, if you can name one, or give me a few highlights?
Okay. And we kind of talked about this earlier, but I say this too, is all of it has been a highlight. Yes. Honestly, it really has, because when I think about my life, and I didn't have a bad life growing up at all, but just when I think about me, Loretta, that I've been entrusted to do these things that I'm able to do for the community, because all of them are about helping someone else. It's not just about me or for me, and it is full circle. I'm just as blessed and honored for it, but I really just feel honored a lot of times when I think that the universe trusted me to play such a big part in this world, just little me, so it is all a highlight. But one of the main highlights for me, Kenny, I would say, with Sister Soul Fest is the expansion. Mm-hmm. We started here in Des Moines, Iowa, in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
In 2020, not knowing anything. Seriously. And it came to me in a vision from meditation in the middle of the park in the middle of June. So, being able to expand from Des Moines, Iowa to North Carolina. And this is just our 5th year here in Des Moines. And it's North Carolina's 3rd year. So in this coming September. So that really just blew my mind because it's like, okay, here we are. We have this festival here, one of its kind that we know of, the only one of its kind.
The only one.
And then it's like, we go to North Carolina, like with not even being 5 years in. So that just really, that's a highlight, definitely a highlight.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I want to mention about Sister Soul Fest is you allow Do the Math 24/7 to be a part of it and to set up, as a vendor, but just sharing promotional stuff, sharing as far as our after-school program, our character building program.
Yes.
And there's so many different vendors that are there, well over 60 plus, 70 plus vendors every year.
Yeah.
And it's amazing just to see that. And not just that, it's the platform that being a part of Sister Soul Fest, that people in the community, they know about it. So it's just another opportunity as far as me, what I'm doing in the community, people know as far as what Do the Math 24/7 is doing.
Right.
And I do like the fact that you kind of do me a little shout out on the stage every year.
Absolutely.
Give me a shout out. But, and so many people come every year. People know about it. That's one of the last events of the summer. It's the last, everybody know it's the last weekend in August. It's Sister Soul Fest, right
That
before Labor Day
Sunday.
weekend. So people know that, and people continue to come. So it's been great for me. I've encouraged several different organizations just to kind of connect with you and to be a part of it, right?
Listen, when I tell you he's the hookup 24/7, Do the Math 24/7, Kenny, you have put me onto a lot of great people, and I appreciate that. So and then opening opportunities for me too, just like this. This is wonderful. So I thank you for that.
Yes.
And I always say, you'll hear me say full circle because it's a full circle. I believe that everything is connected and we need everything. We need the sun, the moon, we need the rain, we need we need it all. So, and we need each other.
We need each other.
And so I appreciate that with you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. So what about any other successes that if you want to maybe just share a little bit about the first year of the art gala?
Oh,
as far as the turnout and actually the nice paintings and artwork that was being sold.
Listen, the first year, man, you already know we sold everything. We even sold decorations off the wall, like literally. So, oh my goodness, we sold pieces. I mean, it was our very first time. And again, the idea came to me to have an art gala and auction through just hearing spirit, staying open and hearing and being available and still enough to hear what I was supposed to do. So, oh man, it blew my mind. It blew everyone's mind. We sold every ticket. So every ticket was sold. Our food was wonderful. It was just top notch. And especially for something that I've never done before, but I've always had a love for art. So that year we sold everything. We had pieces come from South Carolina. We had pieces from Minnesota. We had pieces, of course, our local artists. But yeah, when it finally, and let me just back up. That whole fundraiser thing, we had partnered with another company at that time, which we thought was really going to be a great thing. And it turned out to be a disaster. But we learned in everything. So I learned a lot of things. So when that company that actually told us that we needed to have a fundraiser in the winter, and we were on contract, all of that. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. We planned from October all the way up to December, and then boom, 29 days away from the event, they say we're not going to give you the funds that we said we would give you to do this event. And oh my God, I went into really like prayer mode. A lot of times people go into panic mode. I panicked a little, but that goes out really quick for me because I will pray and say, okay, I know you gave me this idea and so you got to work this out. Yeah. And lo and behold, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. It was more of an experience for everyone. And that's where I feel that we make the difference. Even with Sister Soul Fest, any event that we do is more about providing an experience. It's not just an event, or it's not just you find out what makes yours different. How can you make it different? And I just know that that's what we're able to do. So that art gala, man, we had pieces sell for $1,600. We had pieces sell for $600. I mean, everything sold, which just blew my mind. And like I said, even the decorations, because we had planned to have like backdrops made professionally, but when the money was cut and tickets were already selling, and I was like, we can't back out. There's no way we can back out now. So my daughter-in-law's mother is an artist. And so I went to her. I was like, Heidi, can you please just help me get some material and just paint this, paint that, paint this. I just gave her, and she did it. She did it again this year. And our symbol, in Sister Soul Fest, there's the heart and the flame. Mm-hmm. And so that was one thing that we had to have from day one. And so she made that, and someone bought it. They were like, okay, I want that. And I'm like, that's not even for sale. That's just decorations. And I was like, okay, because I was in the mood, everything must go. Right. I said, how much you want to pay for it? And she was like, 45. I said sold. And so my girlfriend that I worked with for years, she was there helping me, Monica, and she grabbed the ladder, she put it up, took it down, folded it, sold.
I hear that. Yeah, that's good.
It was beautiful. But yeah, so yeah, that I will never ever forget that. And you guys were there, you and Jessica. Yes. So yeah.
And then also you allowed artists to be put on their platform, or put on a platform to be exposed, and that people know about, what they're doing. So
right. And so, and the thing about it too, that year, our first year, as I said, we didn't know really much of anything. But I knew that being able to put our local artists and even the surrounding cities, like I said, pieces came from everywhere, from a lot of different places, not everywhere, but I wanted to be able to give them something back too, because that's their hobby, that's their gift, that's their source of income a lot of times. So I wanted to make sure that even though it was a fundraiser for Sister Soul Fest, there was a way of not only just putting them and giving them exposure, allowing them to have that experience, because a lot of times, a lot of the artists that were there and created and submitted pieces, they had never been in an art gala. They'd never had their artwork in any type of space where people can walk around and look at it and actually, and then buy it, or, auction it off. And so I had never been to an auction either, but I always knew I would love to go to an auction. And my mind is really like, okay, if I can't get there, I'm going to create it. Right, yeah. So it's like, okay. But anyway, so those artists were given back a certain percentage. And when we first started off, and I hate to say this, but honestly, we were like, okay, 10% is what you would get from the final sale. Well, when stuff went for $1,600, and I was like, there's no way we can just give 10%. So they actually got 25% of what it actually sold for. Because I was like, wow, we were not expecting things to go that high at all. So, and then this year we changed it because we've learned and we've grown and we do better now. So this year it was 35% of what is the final sale. It goes back to them too. So, and then it also gives them, as you mentioned, exposure. And then, I mean, so many people, so many of the artists have now bloomed from that too. It helped them
Right.
in a sense. So it's always, my heart is just really to help.
Right.
Wherever I can help, and be good help. And I say that because bad help, dead help is no help at all. So it's like, be good help. So if I can be a good help to anyone or anywhere in a space that I know is for me, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. I understand that. Now you mentioned as far as an example, when you're going through the art gala, something happened as far as what company you were working with, and basically it was an obstacle and whatnot. It was a challenge, right? But you got around that. You learned how to be creative and figure it out on your own. So with that, name a challenge, something that you had to go through when you first started out, or maybe a current one that, and we kind of talked about that before. So I really want you to share that. So this is deep.
So really, when we talked about it, and you mentioned challenge, and we always talk about challenges.
Right.
We always talk about the trials, or we focus on that, and not that it's a bad thing, because I do know we have to acknowledge those things. Just staying there is when it becomes a not so good thing. Mm-hmm. But I've learned, or I'm leaning more towards acknowledging the hurt, the hurtful things, the things that no one really knows that you go through. It's like the emotional roller coaster that you are on. One is on when they're an entrepreneur, or they're actually following their vision or dream that no one else really sees it. Right. And not that they have to see it, but it does make it a little easier when other people see it, like, okay, we're in this together. But the hurtful things, the people, I never in my life had ever heard that you're not asking for enough. When it came to money, like, what? We're not asking for enough. So that, it was hurtful, because it's like, this was a major company that has the money, and they do for a lot of businesses, and especially minorities and people of color. They focus on that. So when that came down, that was like, wow. So, but it was a learning lesson. Again, learn from everything. I mean, everything. Learn from everything. So that was a learning lesson to ask for more. So that's one example of the hurtful things. And then, the abandonment of people that you didn't think would abandon you. And at the time, it's hurtful and you don't really understand it. But then again, you learn from it, and you realize that time with that person or with that group is over, and it's okay. So enjoy what you did have and move forward. And because a lot of times things aren't always for everybody that's right there. Right. So it's like an old pastor that old church I used to go to years ago in Colorado, and I'll never forget this, but Pastor Burleson had talked about the importance of a layover, that when you're on a plane, you want to hurry and get there, and then you have a layover, and especially those unexpected layovers. So like, say there's something wrong with the plane, or there's not enough crew to run the flight or whatever. So when you have that layover, he's talked about how it's necessary, because there's some people that have to get off, and there's some people that are going to get on. So it's like, and then this is a time for you to be still too. Yeah. And it's a time for you to realize in this space, be aware, you may meet someone or cross paths with someone, or you may see something. I mean, it's just everything we need to be present in. And so that comes back to my memory a lot when my mind and my heart want to tug and think about, oh, this person isn't in my life anymore. This person isn't this or that. So that helps a lot to think about that. Yeah. But yeah, so just really basically, we need to talk more about the emotional sides that we all face when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and really even being the first of anything. Woo, trailblazers, and Ooh, I tell you, I'm hats off to every single one of them that's come before me. It came before all of us that were trailblazers in the first, because being the first of something is it's an honor, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You take a lot of beats and blows to the head and
Blazing
whatever.
that trail.
Yeah.
Right? There's no pathway yet.
There's no
You're
pathway.
creating that pathway.
Exactly. You are creating that pathway.
You got a shovel and this and that. And
man,
right.
listen, then the wind blows and brings it all back, and
Right,
you're like, wait.
yeah. What happened? Right?
Forget the shovel.
That's a good
Let's
analogy.
just dig through here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully people are doing more of that, or will be able to realize to say, let's talk about this and then work through it, because it's all real.
Yeah.
It's all real.
Yeah. I just like the fact, going back to Sister Soul Fest, that, it's an opportunity for so many Black-owned women businesses to come together and to sell their products. And that's something that, you don't really see too often in Iowa. So,
right.
It's something that's consistent every year, and people can look forward to it. And, and just the young girls that are going there.
Oh, my gosh.
They see the entrepreneurs. They see
it.
the vast amount of women entrepreneurs. You see the young males that see the vast amount of women entrepreneurs. I mean, that's awesome. That's motivation. That's something that, they need to see. We all need to see. So as a community in general, and not just to see, but to make sure that we support.
Absolutely.
And, with our dollars, with our resources, with marketing, with, posting, sharing, just any little thing. Like you mentioned, being an entrepreneur is tough. And sometimes that little share, that post, you don't know how that can tap into something else and how that can help you out, help us out. So, hope that we continue to do that, just to make sure that, we embrace each other and, we support one another, because it is tough.
It is.
It's tough being an entrepreneur, and just in general, not just, Black women and, men or women, different businesses, but just in being an entrepreneur, it is tough. And the more support that we have, the better. And that's one thing I do like about this podcast, which we mentioned, just in the lobby area, just, having an opportunity to share as far as the struggles, the good and the bad, and the stuff that we're going through, and just also, having that platform, that extra platform, just to kind of, people can know about you more. So, that's definitely a great thing. So share some of your current projects.
Oh, okay. Well, we have quite a few projects, current projects, but this one here is Brothers United for Hope. So Brothers United for Hope, and I talked about it, Kenny and I talked a little bit about it, and that this year was the first year that the artwork was coming from Brothers United for Hope. Brothers United for Hope is basically the men that are currently incarcerated. So we actually have one person here in Iowa, but the other, we have a total of 6 guys with us. So there's 6 guys. And so their artwork, the one here in Iowa and the other are in North Carolina. And so this is one piece here. So they do a variety of artwork in mediums. So you can have pastels, ink, just everything. So this here is acrylic, and this is one of my favorites. So they either send the artwork to me, or I go to North Carolina and I pick it up as well. And then I bring it here and I get it framed, and we make prints. We can put it on everything. But the one thing that I really like about, and that I will love about Brothers United for Hope, is that, again, it's a full circle, and we're giving back. And they get 60% of all final sales, whether we put their artwork on a T-shirt or a bag. I have a bag with some on it, or the prints. Whatever we do, They get 60% of that back to give back to them to help ease that financial burden. Oh my gosh, when I say financial burden.
Yeah, and that stretches out.
Yeah, it does. So, and then this is another artist. This is actually charcoal, and this is one of the newer ones that came in. This is T Swift. I think everybody knows who she is. It's gorgeous. Isn't it? So, and then we have Hot girl
summer.
Yes, and this is all in pastel. I don't know if you can see it, but this is Megan. This is like really one of my favorites. I love doing the art. I mean, I can't do art, but I love framing it or that. So when I took this for framing and I seen this mat, it's like a velvet mat. I was like, yes, we have to do this one. So yeah, so this is, and this is all pastels.
Wow.
So pastels are kind of like a chalk, kind of like charcoal too, but yeah. So, and we have so many pieces too. I just brought a few. But yeah, so more about Brothers United for Hope. This fell in my lap as well. This was our first year. August 11th is when we started. Then we call it more of our outreach for the men in the community. And it doesn't matter what race, color, background, anything. It doesn't matter as long, is that you, art is really our face of Brothers United for Hope. Well, we are really more about reform, awareness, and accountability. Mm-hmm. So with reform, and again, everything is connected. These are men that have made a change of mind and a change of heart, and they're using their art as therapy for the community. They want to give back. They want to show. And when I tell you, Kenny, the appreciation that the letters that I get, some of their parents call and say thank you, or they text and say, I haven't heard my son this happy in years, and thank you for this opportunity. So those are the things, and I get calls, Miss Loretta, thank you so much, or I had this idea, and I mean, just to hear the hope in their voices really does something for me. So I go really hard right now for Brothers United for Hope. It is it's a ministry of Sister Soul Fest, because for many years we were asked by the men in the community, when are you going to do something for us? Yeah. And the first 2 years, well, I have to say the first 3 years, I was kind of like, well, you guys can do something for yourself, but, and not in a rude way, but just kind of thinking like, we did this, so y'all can do this. But last year, Spirit dropped in my spirit a whole different vibe. It was more like, you know what? The brothers need you, and this is where you're needed. And you're needed with the men that are kind of like the forgotten people. I've been very blessed and fortunate to, before now, ever have anyone incarcerated directly affect me. So when I say the forgotten people, they really are. And it's not intentional. It's just because we're out here in this world doing our lives. And if you don't have or know someone that's incarcerated, you won't think of them. And I didn't. I didn't. And now that I know so many that are incarcerated, and the inhumane treatment, the financial burden, a phone call, a text, just everything is just it's really like a modern day slavery. And it's so bad in different parts of the country. The South seems to be the worst, but they're all bad. It's horrible. When I call up there to try and help, if someone's not being seen for a medical, they'll reach out. So it's so much more than just the art for me. Mm. And it's really just bringing awareness so that we are more aware, especially for us, Black and brown community. 1 in 4 Black men will be incarcerated in their life. That's extremely too high. 1 in 4. And just here in Iowa, the statistics of the Blacks and browns in the penitentiary here in Iowa is just so alarming. It's gross, actually, because Black people make up 4% of Iowa population, but we make up 25% of the prison population. How does that make sense? Do the math. Do the math. How are we 4%, but we're 25% in the prison? Like, are you kidding me? and we're not aware of it. So bringing awareness to this, we had a separate art show at Mars Cafe back in March, I think, or was it the end of February? No, it was the whole month of February because it was Black History Month. Yes, so the whole month of February. And so when we did our ending show, I was able to give some of these statistics about the prison system. So it's really just like bringing that awareness. We're reforming it. So many times the prison systems are even the correctional institution. How are you correcting? What are you doing to help correct? You get the funding, they get the money to do these things, but they don't use it for that. They tell them, it's just so much fraud and corruption going on in the prison system. And because we're not we're not aware of it, sometimes for no fault of ours, but now we know, and we have to do better to bring awareness to it and accountability, and not just accountability to the residents. We don't use inmates anymore because that's derogative. So it's residents, when they're accountable, okay, but so they're being held for whatever they did, and some are innocent, and some are there then they shouldn't be, but our accountability to make the system and the laws and the politicians and all of these people, make them accountable to make things better.
Yes.
There's policies for every prison system, and man, they don't follow them. I can't tell you how many times I've called and I said, in your policy, in the NC .2568, in chapter 7 and H, it says this. And they tell me, oh, well, how did you get that? Well, we don't know. Oh, and they don't even know the policy. But yeah, there's just so much. So this is where a lot of my heart is right now, is Brothers United for Hope. It's been it's been a roller coaster for real. And we're going on a year this coming August. It'll be our year for this, but it's been very eye-opening, heartbreaking, and rewarding too. It's been all of it. So
okay, good. So going into that, Brothers United for Hope, how can viewers get in contact with you? What are all your social media accounts? And
okay, so we do have a website. Sister Soulfest has a website, so it's www.sistersoulfest, and sisters with a little sass. It's SISTA. So sistersoulfest.com. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and they even made a TikTok. I don't know anything about TikTok, but it's there. We also have Brothers United for Hope. They're on the website. Also, social medias. You can connect with all of those if you go through there. So, and it's sistersoulfest.com, and remember with this ass, and Brothers United for Hope as well. So. And we have email. My phone number is probably everywhere. So you can call, email us, whatever. But everything is for sale as far as the artwork. So we do have that, and we're still loading things onto the website under this module or tab for Brothers United for Hope. But yeah, so just get a hold of us and keep us in your prayers. If you pray, whoever you pray for, just pray for us and send positive vibrations, positive energy, light, and a little bit of shadow too, because we need them both. But yeah, just really, just do that for us.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being part of the show. It's my second episode. You definitely made it comfortable for me, your energy and whatnot. I'm going to end with a quick little math equation. So this is my first time doing this, so I'm just going with it. But
I love it.
So give me a math equation. So what is something in life that we can add more of and subtract more of, and the end result would be the equal? So what can we add and subtract would equal to what?
I would say we would need to add more understanding. I feel we need to add more understanding, get to understand why something is the way it is or why someone is the way they are. Don't just take it personal, but understand what is that person or try to understand. Maybe that person is going through some serious hell right now.
Yes.
Or maybe this person is just so excited about life and doesn't need you to come and be Debbie Downer.
Right,
Understand, get more understanding, I would say. So let's add more understanding.
Okay, and then subtract.
Oh my goodness. I would say we need to subtract. Oh gosh. I would say subtract. How could I say this? I know there's another word, but I would just say mind control. Subtract mind control.
Mind control.
Stop just going with what everybody tells you. Stop listening to, you want to listen, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to say that. You want to listen, but you want to take what is for you. Not everything that someone has to say is for you.
It's for you.
So don't just take that mind control, because words are so powerful.
Yes.
Words are life. Their death or life is in the tongue, So, really don't just let someone control your mind. The TV, the electronics, the whatever, just stop the mind control. So let's subtract that.
Okay, so add understanding, subtract mind control, what equals to what?
A brand new you.
A brand new you. I like that, right? Period.
Brand new you.
There you go.
Somebody you've never seen before. But you will love and adore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Loretta, for being part of this show.
Kenny.
I really appreciate, again, your energy, your smile, and
yours.
just, what you're doing in the community, uplifting. So keep doing what you're doing.
I'm sure I'm going to.
Sister Soul Fest is the last weekend. It's the last Sunday in August. So be on the lookout with that.
Right.
There's going to be some information going out as far as that in a few months. So again, this is Kenny Lilly from Do the Math 24/7's Math Talk. I appreciate you guys once again for tuning in. And remember, do the math 24/7.